And it's Wednesday morning, the 8th of July, and welcome to another video of the Federal Alliance of Southern Africa, where we will be looking at some executive orders that need to be put out when the time comes. We have traversed quite a few things about the Federal Alliance. As a matter of fact, where we are now, we may as well even start a political party to run for the elections when the elections come. Who knows what will happen? Could be interesting. Let's have some coffee. Let's have some coffee. We would need about, I think it's 600 or 1,000 signatures, and we would need 600,000 rand to be able to partake in elections. And it could be quite an interesting shot in the dark. It could be a new method of going forward, where we win an election based on a federal alliance system. That could be a first in history as well. So, let's see who comes up this morning. We have Namibians popping up. Amanda's here. Good morning. And so that's an interesting thought. Is instead of trying to battle, week in and week out, trying to get certain groups on board, is simply to have an election based on a semi-political party. I wonder if such a thing is possible. And even if the by-elections smash the ANC this year, perhaps in the new year or the year after, when we have genuine elections, we might be able to just win. That would be a total different scenario. Because everything is out there. Everything is out there. We have not been quiet on what we are going to do. We haven't been, hiding in the dark. We've been very clear about the direction of the Federal Alliance. And so it could be either or. It could be either we get the finances and we do it, or it could be a by-election or an election situation and we do it. Who knows? Things can change. Things is fluid. Things are fluid. Things are very fluid. So today we're going to have a look at some of the executive orders that is important for establishing peace and security and establishing a new country going forward. Things that need to be put in place. I've already discussed the forming of the federal supervisory government, and I've discussed the educational systems executive order. But now we will have a look at the establishment of the federal peacekeeping force. We don't want police. We want peacekeepers. We don't want police that work for the government and for their own pocket. We want peacekeepers. If we approach our policing strategy from a peacekeeping point of view, then we will have far greater success in the communities, amongst all the different peoples. And South Africa is a very complex country. So it takes a little bit of thinking out of the box to get things in place, put things in place, sort things out that can bring change. All right? So, as always, the beginning or the preamble of the executive order, number 003/2025, when this first one was written. Establishment of a new federal peacekeeping force by the President of the Federal Alliance of Southern Africa as ratified by the Federal Alliance Advisory Council. So our federal board will become the Federal Alliance Advisory Council. Good. So it's obviously the president that signs this thing into power, and we are looking at establishment of the Federal Peacekeeping Force, or the FPF. Creation of the Federal Peacekeeping Force. The Federal Peacekeeping Force is hereby established as a non-militarized, community-focused force tasked with maintaining public order, preventing crime, and ensuring safety. The FPF will operate independently from traditional police forces and will have the mandate to support civilian governance and community security efforts. Jan, good morning. So a community-based policing approach, the FPF will operate based on the principles of community policing, which emphasizes building relationships of trust and cooperation between the peacekeepers and local communities. The goal is to ensure that law enforcement is responsive to the needs of the people while maintaining impartiality and respect for human rights. Peacekeeper selection and training. A rigorous selection process will be introduced for new peacekeepers, focusing on integrity, empathy, and commitment to service. A state-of-the-art training program will be created to provide peacekeepers with the necessary skills in conflict resolution, mediation, de-escalation tactics, and non-violent intervention. In addition, cultural sensitivity and human rights education, or people's rights education, will be emphasized. By this time, I'm moving away from the word human and I'm bringing back people and sovereignty. Phase integration and transition. The FPF will begin operating in select regions with the highest levels of insecurity, focusing on crime reduction, mediation, and community building efforts. The transition from the old system to the FPF will occur over a 5-year period, with the phase integration of the FPF in all regions of the Federal Alliance. So this is something that will take time, but will be done. Oversight and accountability. The FPF will be subject to civilian oversight with an independent board established to review operations, monitor activities, and ensure transparency. A public reporting mechanism will also be implemented to foster accountability and public trust. Everything we do has to be transparent. Everything we do has to be above board. Everything that we do has to be focused. All right? And when we do these things, the South Africans of Southern Africa will need to know exactly what's happening. So we don't want a police-keeping force, we want a peace-keeping force. Sorry about that, but we have a crazy little Yorkie in this house. And he didn't see the people downstairs. And then he recognized them. So forgive me for that. I can't hold a Yorkie accountable. In any case. So that's the peacekeeping forces one. Now we have another one here. Well, we have a lot. But this is number 004, which is rebuilding and modernizing the National Defence Force. This is also very important. So you need your peacekeepers, but you also need your defence force. And when we did the main documentation on the defence force, if you remember correctly, we described how each state will have its own defence force and how combined we will be one big military might. Unstoppable. Can you imagine what our Springbok rugby team will look like then? Ish. Good, so the subject is the reform and the phased reconstruction of the National Defence Force, or the NDF. Not the SANDF, the NDF. Just the National Defence Force, right? Why do we say National Defence Force? Because if I have to say the Federal Alliance National Defence Force, the acronym just gets crazy, right? And what if we bring in Namibia, for example? Since we have Namibians here this morning. What if we bring in Namibia and we have the the Damaras having their own area, and the Hereru having their own area, and the Rehoboth Busters having their own area, and the Namas having their own area. We bring them all in, and they each have their own security force. Each one of them has their own security force, right? Now we bring in a sovereign nation, which is Namibia. They can obviously decide if they want to drop their sovereignty and just join, right? They can do that. However, we would rather let Namibia keep the sovereignty for cultural activities like, for example, the Namibian rugby team or the Namibian cricket team, right? We want to still keep an identity of the sovereign nation. So let's say we bring in the sovereign nation into the fold, right? How do we formulate the defense force then? So a national defense force is the easiest, the biggest, the best way of conglomerating all of these different groups into one holding group or into one massive group. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if we can combine a genuine military might of South Africa with a military of Namibia, with a military of Zimbabwe, etc., etc.? Can you imagine? No nation on this earth will try to invade us, try to strip our minerals, try to give us COVID and any other crap like that. Can you imagine? That's why I've got the John Lennon song, which we changed to a Christian song. I still need to put the words, or the words are already written in Afrikaans, but I want to put it into music. I must actually contact John Lawrence. So we have a phased reconstruction of the National Defence Force, and we have a complete assessment and reform of the NDF, an independent National Defence Review Committee will be established to conduct a thorough assessment of the current state of the NDF, which is terrible. This committee will identify weaknesses, outdated structures, and areas in need of modernization. The committee will propose a new vision for the NDF with updated goals, objectives, and strategies. Rebuilding core capabilities. The NDF will focus on rebuilding its core capabilities in the following areas. Obviously, modernization and equipment, phased procurement and integration of phased procurement and integration of modern military technologies, including advanced communication systems, cyber defense capabilities, drones, and combat-ready vehicles. Guys like myself who were in the armored core of the South African Defence Force understand what it means to have combat-ready vehicles, right? Whether it be our main battle tanks or our Ratels or our armored vehicles or our Rooikats, whatever they're called nowadays, there might still be one or two of them being driven around by Africa that doesn't know what they're doing. In any case, training and capacity building, comprehensive training programs for military personnel focusing on modern combat strategies, cybersecurity, peacekeeping missions, and regional defense cooperation, as I mentioned about Namibia. Intelligence and surveillance, strengthening intelligence gathering and surveillance capabilities to anticipate and respond to external and internal threats. Internal threats are not far-fetched, right? We see idiots like Mal Emmer and Zumpi, right? They are internal threats. So we must be able to face these internal threats, get rid of them, deal with them, sort them out as soon as possible. Good. Creation of specialized forces. New specialized divisions will be established within the NDF, including a cyber defense division dedicated to protecting the nation from cyber attacks and digital threats, rapid response forces, specially trained for fast deployment in emergency situations such as natural disasters or regional conflicts. Then we have regional defense alliances, The NDF will work to establish regional defense alliances and mutual defense agreements with neighboring nations to ensure shared security and cooperation on defense issues. A joint military training program will be established with partner nations. Phased implementation, the reconstruction and modernization of the NDF will occur over a 5-year period. We have to be reasonable about this. And with regular updates to the public regarding progress and milestones achieved, the committee will report directly to the President of the Federal Alliance on the status of the NDF reform. All right. Summary of the orders. Education reform, focus on curriculum overhaul, etc., etc. Peacekeeping system, defense force reform. These are all things that we've touched on in the past few days. All right. Let's see if we can do another one. See, these are the documents that we put out there when the time comes and we sign it into law, right? So it becomes law, as ratified by the Federal Advisory Council, and it then gets put into play. So the third one that I will speak about this morning, these documents are easy to speak about because they are the basic ratification of what we have already spoken about. All right? We've already spoken about the peacekeeping force. We've already spoken about the defense force. And we have already spoken about this. Establishment. This is an important one. This is a seriously important one. Right? Establishment of the Truth and Accountability Commission to investigate governmental failures, resource mismanagement and corruption. Hierdie is seker die grootste een van hulle almal. This is the biggest one of the whole lot, right? And even if we start with from day one, we start and we say, okay, establish this, establish this, establish this, establish this. This is a day one absolute project that has to be handled, and it has to be handled quickly. Right. Maybe I should read the whole, not the whole document, but just the whereas parts as well, so we can understand what's going on. The previous government of South Africa, and I speak as if it's in the past, the previous government of South Africa failed to uphold the rule of law, effectively manage the nation's resources, and foster transparency, leading to widespread failure in governance and abuse of public trust. Is that not the truth? That's the truth. The people of the Federal Alliance of Southern Africa deserve to know the truth about mismanagement, corruption, and exploitation of public funds and natural resources, which were entrusted to the previous government for the benefit of the nation. The Truth and Accountability Commission, not truth and reconciliation. They were given a country that was operating effectively. They had their truth and reconciliation, and we saw some atrocious things that had taken place, and we dealt with that. Those atrocious things actually started in the Verwoerd era, right? So that was dealt with. But now we're going to have a Truth and Accountability Commission. You are now going to take accountability for your actions of the past 30 odd years. Right. This commission is necessary to ensure full transparency, uncover the truth behind governmental failures, and hold accountable those responsible for misappropriating public resources, as well as ensuring that restorative justice is delivered through an independent, peer-driven process. Good. So, we call it the TAC, the Creation of the Truth and Accountability Commission, the TAC, is hereby established with a mandate to investigate governmental failures, the mismanagement of state resources, and the illicit dealings that resulted in the exploitation of natural resources, such as kickbacks, bribery, and underpricing of assets. Commission structure and leadership. The Ombudsman will serve as the chairperson of the TAC, supported by a team of impartial, highly skilled investigators, auditors, legal experts, and representatives from civil society and the private sector. The Commission will be empowered to summon individuals, access government records, and investigate all relevant transactions. Listen, investigate all relevant transactions, all of it. The mandate of the TAC will focus on the following core areas: investigation of government failures, and the analyzing the reasons for the systemic collapse of state institutions, including failures in public health, education, infrastructure, and governance. Review of the resource allocation and mismanagement, investigating how funds and resources from international donors and natural resource exports were handled, and identifying any cases of misappropriation or fraud. Kickbacks and corruption, identifying individuals, corporations, or entities that engage in corrupt activities, including underpricing of national resources and illicit enrichment. Hierdie is baie Engelse woorde. But it says a lot. It says a lot of how we need to deal with these things, right? Then peer accountability and sentencing. The Commission will work alongside a peer review tribunal, the PRT, where those found responsible for misconduct or corruption will be tried by a panel of their peers. This panel will be composed of impartial professionals, including retired judges, community leaders, and respected members of society. Peer-driven restorative justice will be prioritized. It will be difficult to find respected members of society at this moment in time in South Africa. Reporting and transparency. The TAC will be required to produce public reports at regular intervals, documenting the findings of the investigations and the actions being taken. This has to be swift. We have to be quick, we have to be fast, we have to be precise, and we have to execute as soon as possible, right? At the conclusion of the inquiry, a final comprehensive report will be submitted to the President, the legislature, and the public. Phased implementation and timeline. The TAC will begin its investigations immediately and will aim to complete its initial round of inquiries within 18 months, with regular progress reports made publicly available. You see, it's not just the reports that are going to take place in the 18 months. If you are found guilty, you will be judged and you will be treated as a guilty person, in whatever format that would be, right? If a report comes out that says Ramaplakkertjie stole X amount of money, then you'll either be hanged, executed, or locked up forever, right immediately. As a matter of fact, all persons that are going to be checked will be locked up from the word go. We'll have a special prison just for them. Right. And if they are found not guilty, then they're not guilty. But if they are found guilty, then they will suffer the consequences. That's just what it is. So, there are various executive orders that need to be issued. We need to do this with transparency. We need to do it immediately, and we need to get it out there as soon as the Federal Alliance is established and the nation is in a good place concerning the Federal Alliance. So this can happen in two ways. We've been following the footsteps of Sine van Rensburg, the prophet in this matters, and we have come quite a long way with what we've established and what we've achieved. And so this can happen in two formats. The one format is a rereading of what was said and taking this whole Federal Alliance on a different track. Whereas, to use that word again, other elements of the prophetic word will come into play, which will still be a rebuttal or a refusal of the current government or a Doornbos government to refuse the introduction of the Federal Alliance. That will also lead to a problematic situation. The other method is to go the political route, right? We've established quite a bit. Through the Kings, we have 23 million people behind us, plus minus. If the Kings say they must vote for the Federal Alliance, they'll vote for the Federal Alliance. So we can get them on board and go to the polls, be on the voting ballot, and actually be voted in. Even if we are voted in, the restoration process and all that will still follow the same pattern. There'll still be certain uprisings in certain areas. There'll still be the problem of getting rid of a corrupt government, etc., etc. So, coffee. We as South Africans need to decide what we want. We have to decide what we want. We've come to a place in our history where we understand that a rainbow nation does not work. That kite doesn't fly. Yes, you can do business. You can sit in the same church. You can go to the same shops and the same malls. But we are culturally different. We have different thoughts. We have different aspects to our nature. Different areas in our characters that need to be changed or need to be grouped into one specific area. And it is not in our nature to become part of some other culture. It's not in our nature. So we need to get this right. We need to do this and we need to get this right. And by the grace of God, I've got no idea when this kite's going to fly. We've been putting everything into place slowly but surely. And if we get the necessary funding, then we will do what we need to do. Whether it be the political route and the route of going through all the meetings and placing the idea on the table, etc., etc. So that's where we are at this Wednesday. Now, I just want to mention that we had a really good meeting last night with the Boer leaders. We had a good meeting and we established some ground rules, things that need to be done, be put in place for there to be a unit of the Boer and Boer Afrikaner nation that would discuss certain things with the kings, etc., etc. So that's coming together, slowly, but it's coming together. And in 2 weeks' time, by the grace of God, we'll have another meeting with them, and we will have a more in-depth conversation and put more things on the table. But we are now moving forward. The vehicle has been put into gear, and certain things need to be done. So that's awesome. All right. We do this because we want to be free. We want to be safe. We want to be secure. We want to be prosperous. Right? And we want to be strong. Independently strong. Sovereignly strong. We want to be strong. So, first we are Freelanders. Then we are Boere, Englishmen, Irish, Scottish, whomever wants to build this country. Then we are Pedi, Venda, Xhosa. We are all of these different nations in a sovereign nation, a nation of nations. That's who we are, and that's who we're going to be. And only with God is unity strength. You must have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Take care of yourselves out there.